What's going on, everybody? Eric Taylor of Barricade Cyber Solutions here. And the purpose of this cyber alert is to really talk about the Fortigate CWE-122 that was just released yesterday. And a lot of folks that we're seeing all over social media is like, just patch, hurry up and patch, hurry up and patch. But time out for 1 second. There's more to this than just hurry up and patch. And that's really what I want to talk about today. Make sure that everybody who may have a FortiGate is understanding what you need to do to make sure you're not potentially compromised in this situation before patching, because just patching is not going to remove this type of issue that if you got going on if you have in fact been compromised. With that said, I was going to record this last night, but dealing with our existing clients and stuff like that, we were going through the process, making sure everybody's fully verified that with what the information that we know right now, that they are not compromised, and going through the update process. So 10-second marketing spiel: if you're not using Barricade Cyber as your MSSP, why aren't you? These are the things that we do all the time. We don't just do digital forensics incident response. We are an MSSP, and we do handle the cybersecurity aspect for a lot of businesses. So if this is something that you don't feel like you're very comfortable doing after you watching this video, or you want somebody like us to come in and actually be your MSSP or handle your cybersecurity, please reach out at barricadecyber.com. Literally, my calendar is right there. Schedule a time, and we'll be happy to sit with you. Now that that's done, let's dive into some of the meat of this thing. So yesterday, this was pushed out. This is, like I said before, CWE-122, which does impact the FortiOS, which is FortiClients, or not for FortiGate's operating system for their firewalls, right? So, and this only impacts, at least from the information that we know right now, if you have an SSL VPN implemented inside of your organization, not IPsec, but SSL VPN, which pretty much means you're opening up a web page for clients to log in, but FortiClient also uses the SSL side as well if you're not using IPsec, which is a split tunneling situation. If you don't know, talk to your IT person. If they're deer in the headlights, just, again, call us. Yeah, we do need to patch these things, and we stood up a FortiGate in Azure as an Azure VM, so we will go through some of these things real quick. But one thing you definitely want to make sure is you're looking at the log entries inside of your FortiGate to make sure you're not seeing a ton of application crashes, a ton of application SSL VPN, things of that nature. Look to see if these logs are present in your environment. They also gave a lot of files to check. Now, FortiGate has their own proprietary operating system. It is a knockoff of a Linux Unix derivative, but their commands are completely different. You can't just ls and then search your path in FortiGate like you would in a typical Linux or Unix environment. There's commands there, and we're going to go through them here, but look in the bottom in the description. I put in there, commands to execute or something like that, and there's a whole list of those commands. You can literally copy and paste them into your browser, like I'm going to show you in just a second, to see if this thing is actually prevalent and if this is actually impacting yours before you do your update, right? They also mentioned connections to severe different IP addresses. Now, we did go through all these except for one is actually offline. This one right here, it's really weird. So if we just come into here before we dive into the it's actually going to a Swedish-based type of casino. It's a little weird, but the other IP addresses are no longer operational, at least at the time of this recording. Let me just put that there. So if you're in your network and you're not really noticing a bunch of stuff, you see this here, you just think they may have got there by an ad or something like that. It may potentially look like normal traffic to you inside of your organization as you're doing your parsing your logs and things of that nature. So definitely make sure that these IP addresses are not being visited, because they did mention that this thing was being exploited in the wild, right? So there is a proof of concept out there. I tried last night to find it. I can't find it yet. Hopefully in the next couple of hours we'll actually see this. But based off of what we're seeing, there is what looks like a backup file, some SO files, and definitely our very infamous flash. So I'm suspecting there's a way to mitigate the SSL portal to upload files, to do a put command, upload some files, run some flash, and potentially do some other very nasty stuff and get privilege into the Fortigate and be able to do what you want to do, right? So that's part of the whole supply chain vectors. Like, you got to be able to put the files there. Then you got to be able to make sure they execute. Sometimes Flash is able to do that with some crafting and stuff of that nature. So one thing to note as well, depending on your version, I do know there's a lot of folks that are running some of these older legacy versions. Now, it's not a right or wrong way. There's a lot of specific use cases in especially a lot of our manufacturing clients, that some of the newer operating systems do not work very well. But Fortigate takes a different stance on this. It's a fully supported version. It's just not the latest and greatest. You don't have all the feature sets with 7.2.x, whatever that X is. So make sure that you're fully patching to the latest distribution that you're currently running. If you're able to update and get to the 7.2.x versions, then you have the latest and greatest features offered by Fortigate, right? So with that said, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Like I said, I did set this up in Azure. And if I can even spell my own company name this morning, we'll get logged in here. Hey, Tom Bishop, I see you in the chat. Hope you're doing well today. Now, normally you'll see here, when you log in, update firmware. Again, timeout. Let's run some commands. Let's see if your system is actually impacted, right? So in your Fortigate, let me zoom this in. You're going to see this CLI console up here with a caret and underscore right here. So pop that open. Again, all these commands are literally down in the description below. We're just going to copy and paste them. All right, so quickly we're seeing no such file or directory on every last one of these files. Therefore, we are good to go. And make sure, like I said, make sure that those IP addresses, you're not beaconing anything out. There's been no potential malicious activity. If you do see, let me make this clear, if you come across those files or the IP addresses, definitely talk to somebody. Talk to Fortigate, talk to your cybersecurity firm, and get those things updated. If you has pretty much it, ladies. I mean, we can go, if you come down here over to your left-hand side, we'll just kind of talk about this for a second. So, that's not right. Firmware, system firmware, and then you'll see your Fortigate, and you can actually back up and update to the latest. Normally, you'll have right down here the latest builds that you'll be able to update to. But if you just drop your system and firmware, you'll be able to update. Some of the other ones are in the Fortigate Cloud, just depending again on the version that you have. I just wanted to at least build out a version that required an update and like that for this testing purposes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was insightful for you. Again, if you're one of our clients, you don't have to worry about this. We've already been taking care of this. If you're not using SSL VPN with the information that we have so far, this is not of impact. Definitely try to get the update rolled into your next patching cycle, but it's not as critical for your infrastructure, again, based off of the information that we know right now. But stay tuned. If there is more information, we will definitely put it out there and let everybody know. With that, hope everybody has a great, great day. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see y'all next time.
There once was a kid whose passwords laid across all sites, they were the same. A criminal then found their fame by taking that data to go.
Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your account and go.